Hey, Max.
Hey,
Hey,
hey.
Federico.
Hello.
Right, so
Yeah.
yeah, he's not feeling so well, but I hope you're feeling
As
better
you can
than
see, I'm a wreck of a person. Try to pull myself up.
All right, so should we just get started?
Yeah, sure. I also I see Peter Nobles join. Well, maybe use this time to quickly onboard him, but yeah.
Well, I
Hey,
joined
Peter.
this room because the idea of writing a report is interesting and more or less aligned with my curiosity at the moment. I was curious to know a bit if there was something that was particularly unexpected that came out into all this 5 weeks of talks, and therefore I thought, well, maybe the reporting, people interested in the report have the answer.
Sure. Just quick head ups for Peter. Peter,
Sure.
first of all, welcome. Can you access Miro? Do you see the agenda for today?
Excuse me for being late. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was stuck in a traffic jam from one place to another. The Miro boards, it's the same as the last one, or did you share a new copy, a new link?
The link is the same. I would broadcast it to everybody just in case now. It's just I move you directly to room A. We are now discussing here the whole experience of the Unconference and the report coming out of this. And in another room, they speak about the participatory AI. So you feel free to switch between the rooms. There should be a available thing here, but if you would like to stay with that, it's also really good.
I'm happy here.
Yeah, Federico, back to your question. Well, about the unexpected or interesting thing that happened during the Unconference. Well, I have lots of learnings because this is my first Unconference I do, so I learned a lot. Maybe I'll quickly share and then we can just open up a discussion. But yeah, like one thing that I really admired, I didn't know how to expect it or not, but we had this form for registration, and we asked people, what would you like to bring, and people wrote so many great topics. In that, I believe it's connected somehow to again time zones. It's also end of the year and so on. Maybe it's not everybody who showed interest that could join, but even out of this scope of topics, it kind of opened up a new landscape, we call it Web3 for public goods. But then, there was discussion of, for example, digital human rights, it was permaculture, not the regular thing you expect in DeFi, refi, let's shield the coin or something. Again, it's not like our community is like that, but I was really liking the depths of topics. And even your session about the art, my wife is an artist, an art critic as well, and she tries to teach me. I'm like this techie guy and so on, but I always find something new in this space, about the collaboration and the culture is created by this. So there's some of my highlights.
Yeah, I find very interesting the amount of sovereign position that there is in topics. There is a big convergence in topics. You're right. Like a couple of years ago, there was much less. I mean, I was in both worlds, but there was much less sovereign position of arguments and worldviews. In the methodologies is getting so close, and that's why it's also for me very interesting to see how to actually bring it to life into contexts that are ready for creating this kind of synergies, mostly, and it's my opinion, because of scalability. So when you have a perfect group of people that really works well together, the number has to stay around 5 to 10. If you want to scale up, you arrive to the village sites, but there is the magic number, I think 157 or something like that. Somebody calculated it, from which collaboration becomes impossible in a normal way. So you have to find different ways. One is hierarchy, one is, well, I'm very interested. And about the report, my suggestion would be to try to set it up in text. I know that there is a lot of material is not text oriented because it's a discussion and his experiences, but really I still find that text has this capability of being very stringent, we say in Italian, stringente. So you need to, you need to be very effective.
Een online meeting, ja, kan je straks wel bijtellen. Maar hartstikke leuk.
Solved.
Okay. But that was my my thinking at the moment. Peter, sorry, we went on. Maybe you're not super interested in this aspect.
Oh, you're on mute, Peter. I put you. Sorry. You need to unmute, Peter. Okay.
I'm interested, but I'm a little bit time squeezed today because I lost some time traveling, and now within half an hour I have a next meeting. But I wanted to join to share my thoughts and my review, because I really admired this initiative and the way you did it. But for your information, I also have a company to run, so I was a little bit loosely coupled participant, and sometimes jumping on and then jumping off. Just jumping on a meeting and then going back to work again. So I wasn't able to fully participate, but still I well, a lot of compliment for organizing this. Yeah, and for your information, I am a little bit in between two worlds. I very much like this online passionate people with new ideas how to organize the world. And I also want to keep a link to mainstream initiatives to make it also fruitful, not only in small groups, but how can we help like energy co-ops or all different kind of initiatives which are running outside of the blockchain and Web3 space, who could learn from what we are doing here. So that is just a little bit feedback. I like the topics. And as you said, Federico, when you've got big numbers, it gets more and more difficult to coordinate and to keep people on the same page, as they call it, and there was the same passion. And when you have a broad audience, everybody has his own worldview, has his own drivers. So, but still, we managed to think. I think this Unconference to manage to keep people on board and got them interested. So there's a little bit of feedback from my side.
Thank you.
I have some drafts on the report, like basically what you said about the written form. I can showcase them just in a few minutes. Maybe I will also like to address the question of the interesting dynamics happening through this experience.
Yeah, one, for example, the hopeful monster ideas. So things that happen just like this. That it was not my first Unconference. Actually, I made a couple. One was with Mozilla Foundation in London, but was in person. And I remember it was my first one, and the first impression was, what is this mess? It was really messy. It was an enormous amount of people, and I could not really dig into what I was supposed to do because I was expecting instructions. But at the end was very fruitful, especially because of it was like a showcase exhibition in which there are no stands and no precise thing, but you meet a lot of interesting people. Online is very different, the experience for me, in the sense that online when you always have the impression you can only scratch the surface. So you really need to have more patience and participate more to more initiatives, and then little by little things happen. That's why I think text is still a very relevant medium for this kind of things, because not before, because you don't read before, but after it's very nice to read if you got something that was piquing your interest. To read somehow, to get the story in reading is faster. That was a little bit my thing. So I mean, I'm interested if there is a report that is not maybe just a pin board with links to videos, but that holds a little bit of storytelling. I would be very interested in reading it for sure. And there could be maybe questions that are more relevant, like what you saw. Yeah, for me, the most interesting thing was this convergence. In the beginning, I was thinking to propose a game, to play the game online. Then I thought it was too long time to ask two people, and was not very interesting. Was much more interesting. Maybe it would be a little bit more conceptual. So as the things I wanted to share with the people here.
Sure. I heard Ivy wanted to say something. Ivy, would you like still to do it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we can just jump. Maybe I can just share the report that we are planning to do and how we want to engage the Unconference participants. Let me just share my screen. Where is it? Yeah, and thanks Federico for that feedback. Can you see my screen now?
Loading for me.
Okay, sorry. Okay. All right. So yeah, so like Max said earlier, we're trying to build this report or documentation of all the sessions and of all the sessions during the Unconference month. And so like what you said, we also opted to have like this in written format, written report instead of a different medium. And we have also easier to.
Can you a little bit zoom in for me so I can better read together with you?
Hold on. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, especially the post-its. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I can also send you the link so you can check it later. Yeah, so this documentation, we're planning to build it on Notion, but if you have other suggestions, that's also welcome. So this report is gonna be like a public good. So we're not gonna ask anybody to pay to get access to this report that we're going to build. And it can help the other the current stewards and the future stewards to to learn. We don't want to limit the learning only in the Unconference month and the Unconference participants. So we want to share this as widely as possible. So now it's the gardeners, the Transit team, who's mainly responsible for creating this report. But of course, we're sure that a lot of participants like you, Federico and Peter, have also insights to share and inputs to share in this report, and we want to engage more everyone who participated in the sessions. So we will need writers, editors, graphic designers, and probably consultants and advisors, because we might put some information there that we need some confirmation on the accuracy. And yeah, so we're not limiting the number of writers of these roles. So we can everybody's welcome. We can entertain as many contributors as possible. So mainly the tasks of the volunteers will be to contribute to the digital documentation of the sessions and topics, And we will have a weekly coordination call on Discord, though this is not required. But of course, everybody's encouraged to join the coordination call, so we're all in the same page and we can address any roadblocks that you encounter while building the report and how we can support you. And once the report is ready, we hope that the volunteers will also promote the documentation in your own communities and other communities. So this is a volunteer work because we don't have enough funding to pay contributors. So this is what we can offer. So of course, your name and profile will be displayed on the report as part of the trusted contributors. As I mentioned earlier, we intend to disperse this documentation as to many communities as we can. So that means you can have like a wide exposure if you want to engage more people, to connect with more people. So we are working on partnering with different communities on marketing this documentation in the future. And recently, an organization reached out to Max and asking for, hey, I need this talent recommendations, you know. So if we will have writers, graphic designers, and if some organizations come to us, since we are a trusted community, right? So the volunteers will be prioritized when we recommend someone from Trusted Seed to be hired in this different organization. Of course, we will not guarantee that you'll get hired, but we will prioritize in recommending you to these organizations. And you will get increase in trust score or your trust reputation. I don't know if you're all familiar with the trust score or reputation. So this is the token, a reputation token. It doesn't have a value, a monetary value, but you can use it in governance participation in different in the future commons. And some other organizations also tap the Trusted Seed, invite the Trusted Seed community to participate in their governance, in their so you can have the more score you have, the more weight the more your vote can weigh, you know. So yeah, so that will be the other perk for this volunteer work. And if you have more questions about this, you can just reach out to me, and I can also send you some information on how to get trust score. So the timeline for this, we anticipate that it will take like around 6 weeks. So in the first week, we still have to set the date yet. We haven't set the date yet, but I think this will happen around first week or second week of January, or yeah. So we will have the first coordination call and start building the report, and then there will be like another 3 weeks of building the report and the weekly calls. And anyone can jump in any time of this timeline. And then in week 5, we'll do quality check and final touches. And we are targeting to release the report around February, maybe first or second week of February. So so this is the the timeline for the report. And I think Max has already maybe Max, you can share about your vision of the report. Like oh, by the way, so if you're interested to sign up, Minisi added this table here. So just feel free to drop your name and Discord handle. We need your Discord handle. So we can, because as I said, we need to praise you so we can get a trust score increase. So we need your Discord handle so we can praise you, and just let us know how you want to contribute. If these roles are not, if these roles don't suit you, but if you think of another way how to contribute, feel free to put it here as well. And of course, we need your city, your country, so we know how we can coordinate with the time zone, time differences. So I think that's it, Max. Is there anything that I missed, or you want to share the
I just quickly want to share like structure of the report as we see it. Again, it's like work in progress, but there will be for sure some intro information, And then like all ideas like permaculture, like solar punk, nomadism, and foresight, story matching, like Lachlan Drew, and so on. I try to like again, we can just outline them, but I also like try to kind of distinguish them into like ecological, social, and economical frameworks, you know, where people can read through the sections, you know, maybe there were like something that didn't fit into the conference, but still relevant there. Because I believe, you know, like some community might be really good on this, you know, but don't know about this specifically. And we have 130 members, each of them representing some ecosystem. So it's a great chance to kind of spread the word. And the structure of each framework, you know, like the report can be called something like 25 frameworks for the protopian future, or just frameworks for the protopian future, you know. And what I expected is like framework, when to use it, how to use it, what do you get out of using it. Maybe, you know, there were lots of books mentioned, you know, like more on this topic, and experts from our community. So like just even like a photo or just a name, you know, you can reach to this expert if you're interested to work with this. So here I would like to pass it to you to share the comments, ideas, suggestions.
Yeah, Max, can I give a short feedback?
Of course.
It looks like a nice template to me. I saw I'm really into DAOs. I call DAOs a socio-economic framework. So you put them under the label economic frameworks. I think there's a pitfall. So it's both. It's socio-economic.
Yeah.
So how to deal with that? Socio-economic.
Yeah, right. Yeah. This initial grouping and clustering is like just preliminary thing, just to maybe kind of have some map of those frameworks. But yeah, it's not always easy to separate for sure. Maybe it is.
Yeah, I address this topic because it's a pitfall when you look at DAOs only from an economical perspective. The socio side is so important to keep the social coherence right. And I understand it's difficult to when you have a structure to put every topic in the right under the right label. And perhaps you should use more labels behind one topic instead of just putting the topics under one label, under one framework. And I'm sure that Eleanor Ostrom also would call commons also kind of socio-economic. So yeah.
Well, this points to make social economic cluster instead of an economic cluster and a social cluster.
Yeah, it's also an idea.
Yeah.
And again, you can also use labels. So you can put labels behind a framework.
Yeah, at one moment I thought about, you know, like thinking about network map of connected things together, you know, by text or something. But also this is possible in the digital form. But if we will produce something like a PDF version of this report, you know, to bring for some people like in this form or read on your device, that would require some simplification. But yeah, Federica.
I have a little process of suggestion. And why you try to use Notion for this? Would it not better just to use Markdown on a Git possibly, but maybe not everybody knows how to use Git, but Markdown, put everything together, and then you produce it in PDF as a website. If you want to, you put it in a node. I don't know. I'm not a user of Notion, but I tend to see that you really tend to use a lot of high level system interface that are usually proprietary, which sometimes it's not really necessary, because I see every contributor has to contribute a little folder with the text, some pictures, and then eventually some other contributors have to cluster these contributions and, you know, make them similar. And it could be graphic, could just be a CSS that then uniforms it enough. maybe it's much less passages. I don't know. That's my feeling.
Mm-hmm. I think it's one of the challenges, to find a platform everybody would be comfortable with.
No, not Git. Git, it's not something everybody's comfortable with. But Markdown is. To use a text instead of Google Docs, to use Markdown, it's not that difficult. It's actually welcomed by people in my experience, all kind of people. And then you have a general textual structure that is independent from browsers or proprietary software, and that you can transform into other more graphical ways. The editorial part, you keep it abstract from the actual doing. Don't know, just my feeling.
In the end, it comes down to like the authors of the content. We will accept basically any type of content. If you write it in the notepad, we will accept it. We'll just build to some kind of platform.
That's I was putting myself into your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
It's my nightmare when I have to do big text with many people. I try to keep the substructure as simple as possible, because then you lose an enormous amount of time in adjusting, the fonts on a Google Docs and make them all similar. And you lose track of the reviews. That was the last version. No, it was the version before the last, etc. But no, as far as I'm concerned, I think I had already posted my notes for my talk. That, of course, you can use the way you like. I'm ready to work them out a little bit better. I'm curious to read, of course. Maybe I can help if I have a little bit of time in January, I can help, but I don't know yet. But assemble a text on purpose for this, I can commit to that. Yes, 1 page, 2 pages, as much as you like. Then you can edit it out or in.
Yeah, and I have another feedback point. I like to contribute on the contents, and at the same time, I wasn't a very active participant in this conference, so I don't have a lot of experience to share. But I can't offer my experience and my thoughts about looking to the future, like building frameworks and how to continue from this conference. So I don't know how this can help you, but again, I can't produce much content looking on what we have done, but I still can contribute towards the future.
Yeah, sounds great. I also know, Peter, as far as I remember, you're somehow connected to the academia, right?
Excuse me, can you say it again?
Yeah. As far as I remember, you're somehow connected to the academia. You're working with some university,
yes.
Or yes?
Yeah, I'm part-time professor at the University of Applied Science in Utrecht.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing I would be curious to get your feedback on is that, we have around people from around 12 universities from different positions, some also professors and so on. But I'm just thinking, under as well, one thing is to help prepare it. There was for example, nice session on the network state and so on, and we'll have that professor to describe it. But I'm curious about the distribution. How can it be possible that this kind of report could come into the hands of the students? What is required for that to become something that falls under some curriculum or something?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I don't have the answer. At the university I'm working on, we have a minor called Blockchain for Business, and I will take care that some of these ideas will become part of the curriculum. With another university, we will do it another way. So, yeah, and the world is evolving so fast In the past, you made a curriculum and some educational materials like PowerPoint slides and some exercises. But I don't think that's the way to go forward. It's more about experimenting and learning. So I will think about it, but I don't have the answer right now.
Okay.
Peter, you made me think an association, a wild association. So that's also something maybe can be interesting to contribute. I'm working on making again a lab in a remote area with art and innovation together. I'm trying to make it for this year. Maybe I have to move it to next year. Is an area in the mountains, in the sea, close to Liguria. And the main idea is to create an event that allows, it's something I've already done some more times, allows hackers, designers, dancers, artists to work together in the woods near to villages that need the regeneration, and then to observe the impact of this kind of sprint of activities in the self organization of the village and the area, and to see what sparks of social innovation can be brought there. Since I've done this various times, I have a lot of data about what happens when these things are done. The next step that I envision is very much linked to trying to scale it, or to scale a network of places that are into regeneration with this type of content, make the content circulate and include the people that lives on the territory. So this is a little bit the field of study. I would also try to launch an idea about how to connect this with local complementary currency, because it's very hard to produce art-related activities. To find the money to produce it is very hard, and also this plays